People, Deluded, I'm back again. William Saliba watch and also Emil Smith-Rowe. But speaking about Saliba, didn't watch the game, seen the highlights, seen some extended footage in relation to his performance against Boredeaux, the 1-1 draw between the two sides, so we might as well speak about it. First things first, you look at the goal that it was 1-1. St Etienne actually should have potentially put the game to bed in the opening stages. They had a lot of possession and a couple of half chances, but they did go behind against Boredeaux and did relatively well to hit back in quick succession. I do think this result leaves them 17th in the league or something, a position, last time I checked, a position above the drop zone. So St Etienne and Claude Puel's men are very much in a dogfight. Fofana and Saliba are very much in a dogfight. Be amazed if Fofana doesn't get a move. Wonder how much Saliba is learning from Debussy and Perrin, two experienced defenders as well. And for me, I'd like to see him absorb as much defensive street smart potentially, because he is a bit naive at times. But for what I believe in Saliba's performance, I think, you know, when he was presented with the opportunity to display his passing, I think he's shown that. I think he defended well generally. I think his positioning was well based on what I've seen. I think it was an okay performance. But it's another game where he's potentially made another mistake. You see him concede the penalty in the week, where St Etienne, he done well to recover and help St Etienne book a place in the cup final against PSG. But looking at the goal, he could have done better. It's the ball's crossed in. I must admit, I did think it was a foul. Is it Josh Marja, a player we've been linked with before? I think from a headed situation, he kind of like digs him in his back. It's like they both go for the ball, but his street smartness from the striker, he kind of gives him something in his back. It affects Saliba's ability to get the ball and whatnot. As that's happened, it's almost like while the ball's coming down, the ball's kind of cannoned off Saliba's teammate next to him, and it fell into the path of Boredeaux, who have taken the lead. Now, you could say it's two errors from the St Etienne defenders, which it is. I did think you could say it was a foul on Saliba, because it does look like a foul. He's jumped and he's disrupted, but you have to play to the whistle. It all happens very quickly and it's very hard to react that quick. But you can see him looking to the ref and putting up his hands and all of these sort of things, people. When obviously you've got to play to the whistle. I do think in the build-up he potentially could have read the situation a bit faster, people. He could have read the situation a bit faster, and it's a thing where you have to play to the whistle. You can't rely on rest, because that sort of goal he conceded, you'll concede that in the Prem. VAR might help you out and all these things, but you have to play to the whistle. And I think people need to remember Saliba is a teenager. I'm very confident about him. His potential is through the roof, in my opinion. You know, he's 6'4", he's quick, he has that aura of a centre-half, he's got that natural calmness, he can tell he likes to defend and likes to improve. There's a lot to love about him. But no matter how decent I think he is and can be, he's still a teenager. And he's shown that against Metz, where he got terrorised against Diallo. He showed that he reacted well, but with the penalty he conceded in the week. And he's shown that today, well, not today, but in the draw against Boredeaux, he will make mistakes. He needs to learn harsh lessons. He's not going to be perfect. For me, coming into the team next season, I want him to play significant football, but we need to remember there's going to be harsh lessons for him to learn. He said himself, on the goal they conceded, I'm totally relaxed, and then I get a push. It was not enough for the ref to blow his whistle. We should have scored. We should have opened the scoring in the first half. We weren't able to. We were able to react. We are a bit disappointed again. So it's a soft blow. So again, he said it himself. He needs to be stronger, and for me, play to the whistle. They're 17th, 3 points below the relegation zone, people. So I do think people need to be careful with Saliba. If you really look at it, the 2 games he's played in quick succession, he's made 2 mistakes, really. And he's human. It's nothing against him. But, you know, just let the man develop and all them sort of things, yeah. Moving on to Emil Smith-Rowe, if I can find my notes, people. Here we go. Now, against Leeds, they lost against Leeds. He played 70-odd minutes. I'm not going to lie, based on the extended highlight Sky had shown, he had some nice touches. He did have a good effort from range, which was a bit timid, but spilt by the keeper. He had some good touches, but if I had to describe his performance, I'd say 5 out of 10, because I do think Huddersfield as a whole were a bit toothless, were a bit timid, all of which applies to Emil Smith-Rowe. He tried to get in pockets, but ultimately not getting in any positions of importance. I feel Leeds set the tone and it was just them reacting. For large periods, they had to react to what Leeds is doing. I think the whole team, including Emil, was specific to Emil, bit timid, lacking dynamism. Not really can get up and down the field, but not really any real intent to get up and down the field. It just felt like people were going through the motions sort of thing. You did see him play in central areas and drift out to the flanks. He did link up a couple times when he could with Chris Willock, but I'd say 5 out of 10 performance. A side note, Luke Ayling, a former Arsenal young player who I believe scored for Leeds last week, scored an absolute rocket in this game, people. I'm not gonna lie, people. I felt sorry for Huddersfield Town keeper Lawsall because it reminded me a bit of Leno based on the highlights. In when you're just making bare saves, there's nothing you can do really and truly. You're human, especially the Bamford goal. Like, he's been saving everything. He made a good save. Bamford reacted, but the team has to help him out. I do think Emil Smith-Rowe and the whole team struggled physically, but it is what it is. I do think Leeds look certain to get promoted. I mean, Jack Harrison, I'd imagine if Leeds don't get promoted, he'll be playing Premier League football. Him and Pablo Hernandez turned on the style at times against Thingy. And it's not relevant to this game, but I'm a big fan of Calvin Phillips of Leeds. But, you know, Emil Smith-Rowe and Saliba are two players you're hoping are going to be, you know, integrated into the first team next season. Definitely Saliba. I know there's a lot to be said in relation to bringing in a creative midfielder. You know, Joe Willock's playing in that 10 role. Mesut Ozil and Mkhitaryan will divide opinion, and certain people would say we don't even need that. Let's just go with, you know, we've got, you know, if you've got Xhaka, Ceballos and you play Torreira behind them, Ceballos is that sort of thing. So do you need that? So Emil's coming into next season, he's going to have to show something, really. He might go on loan to a Premier League club, but you'd imagine he'd at least be given an extended stay under Arteta. The key thing for him is to stay fit, is to get goals and assists, but the main thing is to get more experience and more confident to break into Arsenal's first team. Haven't got his comments to hand, but he's more or less said that's the mission. That's what he wants. He said he's ready for Premier League football, and he just hopes to, you know, convince Arteta the same thing. So we'll see in August of next season what everybody's saying, but, you know, we'll always support Saliba and the rest of them. And Emil Mavropanos is injured, so he played no part. I do believe Osei Tutu played for VLC Busham. I believe the same for in Ireland for Cork City for Josh Alewu. Ben Shafe got some minutes for Doncaster. So our youth players are playing football and doing what they need to do to make the steps to progress as footballers in their respective careers. But on that note, I've got nothing more to add, so I'm going to get out of it. People, as usual, it's always a pleasure, but I've got to get out of it. Deluded, I'm out. Comment, subscribe, and do the rest.